We will have a Republican primary for the seat in Florida District 22 on August 18th. And Dan, of course, has run this race before. He probably knows this race and how to run it better than anyone. So let's find out what's happening out there on the streets. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing great. Glad to be back on your show, Joyce.
All right. Well, what's going on? What are you seeing out there? I mean, it's obviously going to be an interesting primary season, even though I never understand why with such a late primary, I just wish it was over already and we could get on with the general election. But I'm sure you feel the same way.
Well, absolutely. I wish we had a much earlier primary. But, Joyce, I'm out every day talking to voters. I want to make clear I'm proudly running as a President Trump supporter, and I'm getting a lot of feedback in favor of that. People like the results he's getting, and people are cheering me on to keep going.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, these are issues that you and I have been, side by side for years on, whether it's the border, whether it's seniors and taxes in the state of Florida, whether it's Israel. You're a big supporter of Israel. What do you think the most important issue is going to be in these 2026 election?
It's definitely economics, but it's a lot of things. I mean, I'm running on a AAA platform of affordability, accountability, and America First. And America First, I just covered. People definitely want leaders who support our country and put our interests first above other countries. On affordability, people are having a tough time making ends meet, and they want leaders who will help grow their incomes and get expenses down. And accountability, you just talked about it a little bit earlier. They don't want politicians to be held accountable only when there's some other agenda. Someone like Swalwell should have been booted out of Congress years ago, but it didn't happen until they wanted to get him out of the governor's race. It's an absolute disgrace. So people want government that works for them and not for themselves, and on all the above measures.
Yeah, I agree. I tell you, one of the things that concerns me is this idea that we don't address affordability and we don't address tax cuts and fair trade and things like that often enough. We get saddled with, they're for a balanced budget amendment, but then they stop talking. Are you going to take this on?
Well, a critical thing I'm running on is my economic plan, which really draws on my 40 years of living and breathing finance and economics. It's actually more than 40 years. It dates back to when I was a college freshman in 1980 taking economics. And I see you really have to approach it from two sides. You have to help grow people's incomes and get the expenses down. On the income side, I want to do everything I can to bring jobs back into the country, as well as growing the economy, everybody benefiting, but also do things that in the near term will help put money into people's pockets. And these are things that will also, over the long run, also help the economy. I'm talking about things like tax cuts, lower interest rates, energy policies that will get us back to $2 gas, which we can get back to, reduced regulations, which is it's basically a tax on our economy. And the interesting thing about that is Fortune 500 CEOs say they love tax cuts, but they love deregulation better. That's a bigger cost for them. So these are things I'm always talking about with voters, and they love it because these are all just common sense things that I've seen during my lifetime that help us all, and that's what I'm advocating.
Well, we need a lot of people in Congress, I believe, that have some economic knowledge, because it looks to me as though they have forgotten all the promises that they made. There are people sitting in Congress right now, Lois Frankel being one of them, who have overseen the disaster after disaster in terms of economic policy, and yet they keep reelecting these people. How do we break this pattern?
You just got to educate the voters. I mean, one of the greatest failures in American political history is the current governor of California. I mean, talk about someone who has failed and on an epic scale of the hundreds of billions of dollars. Yet the Democrats still view him as a hero. We have to educate people on just how that's not working to their best interests. As for myself, I always tell people, if there's only one thing you ever remember about me, remember I'm going to bring a businessman's perspective to Washington. and that resonates well with voters. They say they want a businessman in there rather than a bureaucrat, and they want someone who's going to approach government like a business and treat them like they are shareholders who have to be satisfied, as opposed to voters to be tolerated every 2 to 4 years. And that's the kind of mentality and accountability that the voters want from their elected officials, and that's what I'm going to bring them.
Yeah. Now, of course, the national security is a huge issue, and we can't ignore the military actions that are taking place right now. Florida is one of those states with an enormous military family background. And, what do you see happening now? Is this going to be a long-term military action, or do you think we're coming up towards an end?
Oh, I think we're much closer to the end than certainly the beginning. I mean, the military has been, 99-point-something% eliminated, and I just think we just have to resolve allowing ships to get through the Strait of Hormuz. Once we have that, I think we've accomplished what we sought out to do. The key thing here was to keep Iran from hurting us again in the future, and that means wiping out their ability to make nuclear weapons, but also fire ballistic missiles. We've taken care of that, and now their last card they're playing, which is the Hormuz card, I see that dissipating in the next 1 to 2 weeks. So I'm confident that the end is near on that. Certainly the stock market sees it that way. It's getting closer to its record highs again. And what we've often found is that the stock market is a very good predictor of what's going on in the rest of the world. It tanked when the hostility started, but it's making a comeback. So I'm feeling very good that within a month or two, this will all be behind us. We're going to get back to affordable gas. We're going to be it's going to be back to normal, and we're looking at a good midterm.
Well, finally, what about elections? I mean, people are concerned. They don't know that we have in place a safe electoral system anymore. Most states don't even bother cleaning up the voter rolls. We don't require voter ID in most of the country. Is that ever going to get resolved? One would think it'd be a priority for Congress.
It most certainly should, and I'm extremely disappointed that the Save America Act is languishing in the Senate. I think they should do whatever they can to pass it. I'd be okay with them suspending the filibuster. If there's some other way they can do it through reconciliation, it's important. I mean, one of the key things about it is getting rid of these no-excuse mail-in ballots. We are the only major country in the world that still has them, and a lot of people, including Jimmy Carter himself, said that this is where the fraud happens. And in fact, if we didn't have mail-in ballots, Joyce, I'd be running for my third term now. And that's because I have soundly beaten Lois Frankel both times I ran against her when in-person voting is counted. So when live people showed up with IDs, I smoked her. So what happened? I keep getting killed by mail-in ballots, like enormous numbers from districts with more than 90% turnout, most of it coming from mail-in ballots. So there's nothing I'd like more to see them getting eliminated. So either the Save America Act does it, or the executive order that the president signed is fantastic. Lois Frankel is totally freaking out over that, so that tells me it must be pretty good. So these are the things we need to do. But yeah, the Save America Act, I think, is so important that we pass it. So important.
Yeah, and I just don't hear enough of the party talking about it. But then again, they can't even, fund a TSA. So it's like the public is frustrated with Congress. How do people find out more? I guess your website is danforusa.com?
That is correct. So it's the word FOR, so danforusa.com. If you go there, you can learn all about me. My email address is dan@dan4fl.com. Drop me a note, everybody, if you want to talk to me. I answer my own phone and answer my email. The number is 561-345-8053 if anyone wants to call me. And I love talking to voters. I mean, that's the most fun part about being a candidate, Joyce, getting out and talking to the voters. And I'm hearing that people keep telling me, keep going, you're going to do it, you're going to get it done.
I wish other candidates felt that way.